17. So yeah,
what was that roster?
It was the Greek roster.
Oh, okay.
So I
it's
want to
been some
see
time.
what this roster is going to be capable of doing. A bit of a hard one, I would say. They don't have this like instant stun, very difficult to play nowadays. Most of the time you'll see it from the off lane. As you see on Aurora's side, having DK who buys a Blink Dagger, you have Blink Initiation, and they don't have like anything that deals well with Sven in terms of like locking him down during a BKB. Sure, there's Medusa ulti, but he does not want to focus Medusa. These heroes are going to be extremely difficult to kill on Aurora. Panel talked about the setup that you have with Hoodwink. Q will be playing that Hoodwink. We've seen the hero being super popular during Birmingham as well, mostly being played by these like Falcons, mostly. Every single time I see this hero being played, I'm like, okay, this hero might be slightly broken even.
Taking a look at this little overlay we've got on the screen with the ward placement so far.
Yeah, it's the Biggie map.
Biggie map?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, if it's a mini map and then it's big, it's a Biggie map.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's the first game. That had to process with me for a little bit.
It's the new tech that we have.
I like the new tech.
Make things bigger.
I was wondering about this draft from MOUZ. Wondering if, like, this was draft-oriented or token-oriented, maybe. Do you get tokens in lobbies?
I don't think you do.
For some progress, a little Slytherin tokens for the Medusa pick?
If that's why they picked it, they should get, like, quadruple number of tokens from it. So Bengen on his signature Witch Doctor in the bottom lane. This is how he made the name for himself. I don't know if this is a hero right now. Sometimes, you know, you'll see him being picked up when there's like, oh, we need something against Tidehunter in the lane. But yeah, it doesn't strike me as that good of a hero. You're playing against Dragonite, who has tons of armor, of course. So you're playing against Timbersaw. And this time around, it's going to be Lorinov on Timbersaw. Lorinov has been popping off lately ever since we saw him play during BetBoom Team when he was a stand-in. This guy, they decided to pick him up for a good reason, because he looked extremely good.
He looked good when we were watching him play for Level Up.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with his play. He was playing a lot of Puck then. That was really, for me, the star hero for him when he was playing mid with that Level Up team under I think the captain of Milan then, with Dahak in the safe lane. That was a good Level Up squad. I really liked watching them, and I really liked what he was doing over mid. And now he's up here up against Supreme on the Pangolier. So we'll see how that goes. And you were talking about the Witch Doctor for Bengen, and he played it recently in EPL. He had a game with it, won with it, so he's feeling the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, so far doing good. 1 CS on support Witch Doctor.
That's all you need.
Really feeling himself. Difficult hero to use, I would say, nowadays, especially after all these nerfs. The Death Ward, there was a period of time when the hero was super popular. Pretty much in every bracket, the hero felt really good to play. If you manage to farm that Aghanim Scepter, you can basically win off solo as a position 5. And the game's being much longer. Maybe he can do that, but most of the time you want to buy, you know, some support items, get a Glimmer Cape most of the time.
Yeah, it's not like that Disruptor, right, where you're going like Arcane Boots, straight Ags.
Yeah, you need some item in between.
So just a Mystic Snake thrown out. As Jabs and Q really not bothered all too much. Already 10-4 here for the Dragonite in the off lane.
This is not a killer lane for MOUZ by any means. Having Medusa paired up with Witch Doctor, it's a cask into Snake. That's it. They also don't have the heroes that utilize Ion Shell. Like, it needs to be Darkseer. Maybe Pango can do it. Medusa definitely doesn't get anything out of it. So, yeah. And I also don't see that big combo. That vacuum into 5-man Maledict.
Yeah, Nether Blast.
Into vacuum into Nether Ward. Yeah, that's the combo that they have.
It's the ultimate combo that we'll see drop down. Yeah, there really isn't that big 1-2 punch. Whereas you were talking about it earlier, these heroes on Aurora are hard to kill. You've got pick-off potential eventually with the Bat Rider, with the Lasso, the Blink Dragon Tail from the DK. But there's a lot here, especially the mobility from Q as well with that Hoodwink, where you're just able to get through the trees, throw a Bushwhack out, have that extra control. Like, there's so much here for the crowd control of Aurora. And you can tell, even just the lanes, CS is pretty much perfect for it.
Yeah, all 3 cores from Aurora at the moment.
Look at where
on
this lane's
top, Lorinov playing behind enemy lines. As you should. This is very, you know, Timber favorite matchup. Pango is still going to get the farm. but you're not going to kill Timbersaw. We've seen mid Timbersaws picking up 1 point in reactive armor because that skill is just so shitty at the moment. So you want to max out everything else. But, you know, that's valuable points. Like, maybe it's going to make a difference.
How is it that no matter what they do to Pangolier, it's still a staple mid? Strike count on Swashbuckle 4-3. Everybody thought it was dead. 23. He might be dead. One more right click will do it. Force will get that first blood. And all this talk about Aurora kind of playing a perfect lane, and it looks like they're going to lose 2 here with the Maledict, but it's the right click from Narman that finishes off Ollie. So 2-0 for MOUZ. And you know, they do have a little bit of push potential with the Pugna and the Nether Blast, but it's early on. If they want to make the lane maybe uncomfortable for the Sven, take out that tier 1 early on and force him back into the jungle if possible. A little bushwhack action and a dragon tail onto the Medusa, but not much doing for the side of Aurora down bottom.
That's exactly what they need to do with this type of a lineup. They need to stay ahead of the kills, because if you're, let's say, 2-3k, maybe 5k gold down 15-20 minutes into the game, you're going to suffer. Jabs, double bracer.
Cast Maledict and a Mystic Snake.
Jabs was given a Lotus just in case, and he's going to pop it. He made a slot, so nicely done.
Yeah, he'll eventually heal. He does have level 2 in the Dragon Blood, so he's got that 7 extra health regen. So he will get there, but he does also have Tangos queued up for a little bit more regen, and I believe he bought them and is having those shipped out with a pair of gloves of haste.
If things go well, especially for Supreme in the mid lane, right now sitting at 26 CS, if he gets a good timing on the Fusel Blade, you get mech on your Darkseer, they can play aggressive, and that's exactly what they need to do with this type of a lineup. Just try to stay ahead, play as 4 until Medusa feels comfortable to join. So far so good for MOUZ. 2-0.
What's really the timing, though, for a Medusa in a game like this?
Oh, Medusa, she's fine joining, like, 2-3 items, as we said, but she's also fine, of course, going super late game.
Okay. So we'll see if they can kind of buy that timing.
Looking at his itemization, Yulnit going for Manta into the Fusel Blade instantly on Medusa. Sometimes we'll see that Fusel Blade being like 3rd item, sometimes 4th item. But yeah, combine that with Pangolier, the mana burn, it's gonna hurt a lot, especially when you play against Timbersaw. Sven doesn't have much mana, Nid does Dragonite, so if they burn their mana, could be some 200 IQ play, how to approach some of these fights.
Yeah, leave them with not a lot of mana for that control that we've talked about. Maybe you leave Dragonite down to just 1 stun. Could give them an opportunity and learn off just cleaning up this stack over here. He's already sitting level 6. He's happy with the lane that he got. Arcane boots for him. And camp stacked. Always one of my favorite stats that we show up here on the screen. And it's going to be 6 for the side of Aurora. As Supreme with this haste, he's got 10 seconds to hold this.
These are long 10 seconds. You're playing against Dragonite as well. Q is also there. Bushwhack.
Oh, Bushwhack misses. Rolling Thunder. The timing is not going to be there. So he'll just TP away. Q gets the Wisdom Rune. Norman gets the other one. And he's back over towards mid. He tried for it.
It was a nice attempt from Supreme. Using the Haste Rune. Trying to pick up that Brain Rune, but didn't get it in the end.
Sometimes you need it. Wall down. Nether Blast in. So a little bit of aggression coming out. They've got the Ion Shell. But 23 will just throw out that Storm Hammer, stun him up, and back away. That's now Rolling Thunder committed. Wall was committed down up in the top lane. So maybe this gives Aurora an opportunity to maybe think about getting their first kill on the board.
23 having a pretty good read. Goes instantly near the Dwarf Mines or Mighty Mines. So we'll have that extra regeneration. Does have Morbid Mask. So we'll be good. And Force did finish off his mech. So they're feeling pretty strong right now.
Yeah, and this is going to be that tier 1 tower. That's what we were talking about earlier on. Taking that and forcing Sven back into the jungle. He did use that God Strength, so that'll be on cooldown. He's using that to get some farm under his belt. You can see he's 4th on the net worth at the moment. Things playing a little quiet since those first 2 kills for MOUZ up in the top lane. They're looking, and they do now have level 3 in the Nether Blast, and we saw how quickly they can take the tier 1 top. And they are moving their attention a little bit over towards mid, and not really alone too much Warnoff can do to stop this Pugna from continuing to Nether Blast it.
Yeah, he's going to continue to do so, has mana boots available. Aurora, they're more focused on clearing the stacks, making some more stacks for Sven so he can come back into the game. Some of the earlier stacks have been taken by Lorinov. And Lorinov is still fine. Supreme getting closer to that defusal blade. That's going to be the big timing for MOUZ. And I think they should group around the mid lane and try to take the tower. Arcane Rune with Rolling Thunder, if necessary, and continue to blast that tower.
Yeah, no reason not to. And this is leaving Force up in the top lane. He's farming pretty much for free. He's getting his own staff.
When I when I looked at them, you know, I'm like, maybe he's gonna buy a Force staff, but the Madman's actually doing it. He has my respect. Buying his own item.
Do you think that if you make your name anything that is a Dota item, you have to buy it every game?
Yeah, have to rename myself the Hand of Midas.
I was gonna say, rename yourself Divine Rapier. First item every time.
Not that good of an item anymore. Ollie, look at him playing behind enemy lines. Maybe thinking about cutting the creep wave. He was so ready to clear the stacks, but there were none made in the triangle. Can't clear the big stack.
Bengen. Gonna be upset that this ancient stack doesn't stack.
So it's just ancient.
Yeah. The other camp will stack though. That's always nice. For Ollie, that is. He's gonna steal that. I love just the cheekiness of being there, hiding, letting the other support do all the work just to steal the stack.
Bengen knows something is up because he just leveled up to level 5. He's like, whoa, nobody killed a creep near me. There must be something going on in the triangle. So 10-12 on side of MOUZ and 15 for Aurora.
That was some fast
That was
math.
quick.
I was
Probably
struggling.
that was quick.
There was like 8 numbers on that list. Had to figure out what was what. Remembered I was from NA. Couldn't count for a second. Went from 1 to 2. Jabs has just been here bottom, pretty stationary. I mean, truthfully, all of Aurora has really been stationary in their farming. There hasn't been much of a play.
They have 0 kills. Well,
yeah,
they haven't done anything.
11 minutes
right now.
They've just stacked and.
It's still early here in Romania, 10 a.m., 10:30.
You know,
they
they
didn't wake up properly yet.
Got to get their coffee, their Luca. Get refreshed, woken up. I had a sip of my coffee. It was immediate. I was awake, just instantly. Ready
and
to
going
go.
to the bathroom or just waking up?
Waking up. The best part of waking up is coffee in my cup.
I only love the smell of the coffee. Don't like the taste of it.
You haven't had my coffee before, that's why. One of these days. Ornoff still just cooking. Cooking some creeps. Farming away. Blink Dagger now for Force. So he went...
Casual fluffy hat.
Yeah. Now I feel like I'm being baited. Like he just keeps Force Staff in his queue.
No, I think he's going to commit to it.
I hope so.
It's a great way of just forcing people out of this big combo that they have. Blink, initiation from a Dragonite, some follow-up damage from Timbersaw, so removing the Chakra Magic, and maybe even dodging the Sharpshooter. We're still yet to see Aurora get a kill in this game. 12 minutes.
No kills.
Pretty even game.
Is it a little bit worrying that none of the attention has been on Medusa at all?
I think they have tools to kill Medusa. They have a lot of explosive damage. They have very good scaling lineup on Aurora. That's one of the reasons why they are not too afraid to take this to the mid and super late game. But I want to see them do something. Okay,
and there it is.
Be the smoke. Blink Dagger is available on Jabs, so let's see how MOUZ reads the situation. Yeah, they're going to counter smoke
pretty well. I think they understand where they might break in from, and they've got Force here. Not with a whole bunch of mana, but he's got Arcane Boots, which he'll pop. Ready to go with that mech, so they got to get this kill pretty quickly. Blink Dragon Tail, a Bushwhack follow-up, and they're going to try and get something. They get Bengen. That's the first one on the board for Aurora. This Rolling Thunder coming through the wall is down to Lorinov, but he gets that lone tree off to the side. Vacuum on the 4, but they still kill Force. This feels like maybe MOUZ have kind of forced their hand a little bit, as Onit's going to be trying to run away from everybody on the side of Aurora. Walks towards the wall, but with the God Strength, 23 gets a kill into the Medusa, and it's a 3-0 takeout for Aurora.
Yeah, like you have 3 super tanky cores in the front line. It's just very difficult to go through all that tankiness. And we can see some of the damage numbers. Pugna actually dealing the most damage. And you said, you know, Medusa, she's untouched, but they're not afraid of Medusa because Sven does have this extreme amount of damage, and we're going to see the replay again. Witch Doctor, I think MOUZ is like, okay, it's only a Witch Doctor, first point of contact, we're going to be fine with that. But then look how Force died. He's already down to half HP, and he gets immediately blasted. So he blinked in, a little bit of a mistake, tried to cliff them there. Even if he lands like 3-4 man vacuum, I still don't think at this point of the game that they have enough damage to fight back.
Yeah, the wall felt a little early, especially on to a Timber like that, solo.
Not the illusion that you want to get in a fight. Mostly you're going to be looking at Sven, you're going to be looking at Dragon Knight.
Yeah, and in that fight, Benkin was only level 5. So, you know, there even though he died quickly, like there was no threat of him throwing down an ulti. Like that could have been better set up, I would say, with the vacuum, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just that this one fight sets up the tempo pretty much for the rest of the game. Aurora got what they wanted, that's why they played it so safe. And now, suddenly, one big team fight, they continue to clear up those stacks, they continue to stack the jungle. 5k gold lead already. And with the... You don't have the blink stun, you don't have that instant initiation, jabs.
He's in some trouble. The Diffusal played the inhibit.
Ooh, that was close.
Tried to get to the edge to get bounced down, and with the Maledict, this should be enough damage. A little swashbuckle to finish him off. So Supreme getting that kill, and that's something to even up the kill score, but still down about 4,000 net worth. And off that last fight, 23 got a lot of gold, and not only that, again, this fight's oriented top. 23's on the other side of the map. He was farming away. He's happy. He's top of the net worth. And Q's going to take this to their advantage, right? Like, Q now sits bottom. He's using the Acorn Shot to farm. And this is something that Hoodwinks we've seen time and time again.
Very difficult hero to kill, especially if you don't have any vision heroes, you don't have like any instant stuns. Sure, you have vacuum into like blink vacuum, but that's not ideal. And there's going to be a smoke that comes up from Aurora. They feel very comfortable taking the fight. Lorinov, amplified damage up and running. Kaya Sanj, this guy is super tanky. I don't think he dies. If he doesn't get the Maledict on him, he definitely can't die.
Blink Dragon Tail, and this is
Witch Doctor
dead Witch Doctor. That is pretty rough there for Bengen, but not much he can really do. He's the sacrificial lamb in that when 2 other heroes are running away. Good movement there from Aurora, puts him back up 5,000. I was looking at the build here for Hoodwink, and I know at one point there were people going 1 level in the Bushwhack and heavier into the Scurry, right?
Yeah, but then Crit kind of changed everything, where he showed people that he can land these Bushwhacks with only 1 point in Scurry, only having extra 50 cast range. He's just built different, and I think he kind of popularized this build. Sometimes you'll see them put like 2nd point maybe in Scurry, but overall, this is just maxing out your damage output because you have enough stuns. You have Batrider with the lasso, you have stun from Sven, you also have Blink stun from Dragon Knight. So you're good. You're all good. You're set up so you can play a bit of a different game. You can play a greedier game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's Hoodwink going into the typical Maelstrom, Gleipnir follow-up. You farm pretty quickly, especially when you're getting lanes. And truthfully, the whole bottom side of the map to yourself. Must feel pretty nice overall. And Lorinov's been here trying to be that stopgap on them getting this tier 2 tower, in which he's trying to deny. But Norman can just step up, Nether Blast, and that's the tower. So they get that tier 2 tower up in the top lane. Easy peasy. And they did pick up that Force Staff on Force. So finish that off. Going into the Shard next. Wanting that upgrade to the Surge.
Yeah, this has been a relatively popular build on Darkseer, picking up earlier shard just so that you have some damage on the ground. We've seen people walk in circles around certain heroes with that shard. Use Surge, max move speed, easily done to maximize the damage output. Medusa, Fusel Blade now down on her after finishing off Manta Style, continues to farm up, but yeah, doesn't farm as much as Sven farms.
No, not at all at the moment, that's for sure. And it's Ags on the timeline next for Sven. Clearing up bottom, Q will stay here, putting the pressure onto the tower while Sven farms the rest of the jungle. So really all he needs. And eventually I think you're going to get to that point again where this Ags comes through. They have the BKB anyway. It feels like there's a moment where Aurora, if they want to fight, they can, and if they're close enough to counterplay, they can.
So they know. Nice positioning from Ollie. 23, ready to go in.
Got strength.
BKB available.
There's a Stormhammer, and they're going to try and get the heal out from Bengin, and Aurora not exactly looking to jump in immediately without that obs.
Inhibit, stop the aggression from Sven. That Diffusal Blade slowed him down. So he did pop his ulti, still thinking about going in.
Good bushwhack inhibit again, this time on Aurora off. Maledict misses. Stormhammer, vacuum wall, but it's only out of the Sven who pops the BKB. They've got the lasso, they get the kill on a force. They'll look over at Olney, and that's going to be the break from the sharpshooter coming in from the Hoodwink. Rolling Thunder, bouncing up Ollie into the air. On the back end of the fight, Jabs just trying to create some space. Sven no longer with that God Strength, but is he willing to go back in? They've got Jabs ready with the blink in one. If they can find somebody. Warren off with the Timber Chain, getting them some vision. Blink, Dragon Tail, it's the Medusa. And their blast not really doing enough damage, but they're still looking at Olney. Trying to get ahead of him with the life drain coming in from Narmin, trying to keep alive this Medusa.
The mana.
Got this bushwhack onto the Witch Doctor. They got Bengin. Oh god, Olney gets blown up here. And they finally get the kill into the Medusa. They look for more. Two-man Stormhammer. That shield crash isn't going to be enough to survive. Not looking likely. Aurora's looking for the team wipe, and they got it. Force is back alive, but he had died at the beginning of this fight.
Yeah,
Aurora just
don't have enough damage. You have Pugna, who really doesn't deal damage. He needs to keep away. I mean, he still dealt more damage than Force on Darkseer, which is the lowest number, only 400. Problem is, you don't have that follow-up stun. If your Darkseer runs in, he's also not as tanky as you would think he is at this point of the game. 21 minutes, only having a mech. Sure, Blink Dagger is a good way to start a fight, but yeah, you can see how fast Medusa melts.
Narma was trying so hard, and I gotta commend him for standing his ground and hoping to keep alive this Medusa, but you'll see Medusa just blow up right about now. That is rough life, and then this Stormhammer just kind of lines up.
Yeah, he also can't just stand his ground, use life drain, replenish some mana in the middle of a fight, in the middle of a losing fight where you already lost a couple of heroes, and that's gonna be 2 Tormies.
Yeah,
one on Batrider, the most useless one in the game pretty much, and then you have 1 on Q, plus also picking up 2 Wisdom Runes. So Aurora really on point with what they managed to do in the last 2-3 minutes. Getting a full team wipe, 2 Tormies, 2 XP runes. They can start to look into Roche. Roche is going to be on Radiant side for the next 3 minutes. So try to play bottom part of the map.
You really think this Batrider, it's top 5 worst, right? It's not the worst, because I know what I think is the worst shard.
What?
Skywrath.
Skywrath? No, that's an okay one.
That's an okay one now?
That's an okay one, yeah.
I feel like me and you were on the same page a long time ago that was the worst one.
Things changed. Things have changed. But yeah, Batrider, because like Flaming Lasso doesn't disarm you. Congrats. You're playing
playing a hero now.
5 Batrider, and then every other attack applies a stack of Napalm, which is, you know, not great. It's not like you're going to be right-clicking people in the middle of the fight. And there it is, 23, pops the ulti. They want to kill it as fast as possible. Aghanim Scepter about to be completed.
Oh, Narmin.
Jabs.
He got the dust. Dragon Tail runs out of the Elder Dragon form, but that is not going to be enough to TP out with the Gleipnir of Q. So they get that kill on the Pugna. They get themselves an Aegis into the hands of Sven. Even with a 16,000 net worth lead and Aegis and everything,
I would say this generous 13% for MOUZ.
That's got to be
their high ground
numbers,
defense.
Right?
You don't have any displacement tool. This is not a good scaling lineup. when we're talking about like the super late game. Sure, you have a Darkseer, you have Medusa, but your supports are really struggling. Witch Doctor is sitting at only 4,000 net worth at this point. Does have Philosopher's Stone, that's going to help out, and he's also sitting on the top of the Observer Ward, so might get jumped here.
You think if this lineup got weight in stone, they'd scale better?
Which one? The ones that is looking at Medusa being turned into stone, or Radiant one?
That's a good question. That's a good follow-up. I wasn't expecting that. I would have to say the one turning them into... Yeah, the Medusa lineup, turning into stone. You really hit me with a curveball on the comeback. I was so ready for you to answer my question. I was not ready for a question.
All right, let's see if they're going to go for the high ground. In terms of Peckoff, Ollie, he's ready to go. Blink Dagger available, jumping in, but to jump out from force.
They tried, but they still have 3 minutes on this Aegis. They don't have to force anything, at least not immediately. And even with this Aegis, I don't think they're in a position where they have to finish at the exact moment with this Aegis. They're so far ahead. I mean, it's 10-3. The last kill for MOUZ was...
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago or something.
It was top lane. And, I mean, that was, yeah, 10 minutes ago, just about. In my mind. It could have been 3 minutes ago, truthfully.
They still have a tier 2 tower mid to kill, tier 1 and tier 2 tower in the top lane, so they can easily take control of that part of the map, take control of enemy Ancients.
Ags picked up by Olnit. So he's got that going into the Shard, and then going into upgrading that Diffusal into the coveted Disperser.
Okay, so changing his item build, feels like he needs something with a bigger impact so he can stand his ground. With Aghanim Scepter, turning them into stone, maybe that's gonna be the combo. Vacuum into Snake. Sounds dope.
Yeah.
Let's say your Witch Doctor had some Aghanim Scepter available, Bengen.
If they had some life.
Further away from Aghanim Scepter.
Well, he did buy out on the Force Staff, so he's got that now.
No, I'm just thinking that they need scaling, considering that he was sitting on 2,000 gold, has a Philosopher's Stone. Maybe, like, his thinking is, I need an item right now, because if we lose a fight, we're going to lose the game, so I can't really afford it. I'm just thinking something with the bigger impact in a team fight.
So they pick up a Force Staff on a Pugnus. They have all this repositioning in Force Staffs. Acorn Shot, Bushwhack combo. That'll land, but again, not forcing it. With a minute and a half on this Aegis, they can kind of wait. Wait for God's Strength to be back up. Look ready to go, and just jump. But they're pushing mid, they're pushing top. Side of MOUZ are out and around, kind of protecting Olnit more so than going after 23, but their eye focus is on Olnit.
He's isolated.
God Strength just came back off cooldown. They've got the Chakram on him. Force Staff number 1, walled down, Gleipnir used, lasso on to the Pugna. They're going to jump forward. They've got the BKB from Jabs, and the Stone Gaze just not looking like it's going to be enough. They lose Narman. There goes Bengen. Force is dead. They'll go after Olnit. He'll get behind the barrier, but it's not going to matter. They've got the Timber Chain. They're right on top of the Medusa. Another Bushwhack landed by Q, and they will take out this Medusa with 3 other heroes. 4 gone on MOUZ as Aurora continue to ride.
Yeah, they just don't have enough damage. Like, they're heroes with this itemization. Pango with Lincoln Sphere, these swashbuckles, it's not doing enough. Bugging up as well, staying in the further. Like, look at these damage numbers. They're critically low. 22k gold lead for Aurora. They might have one extra fight for MOUZ because right now, dealing with Sven, who's giga farmed, who has Daedalus in his backpack, this tells you a lot about the state of the game right now.
Giga farmed. You get to that point, you're 24,000 net worth ahead. And again, now Aegis expires. I think Aurora are in a point where they don't have to force it. MOUZ kind of, that's such a risky play to be up towards that ancient camp, right? Like, you knew the general vicinity of where Aurora was.
Yeah,
you would see them pushing
they
top.
did have this observer ward, which is behind tier 1, tier 2 tower in the top lane, which is cutting things out, which is being pinged out right now. And Ollie wants to use that observer ward one more time. He's like, I have lasso at the ready. I want to get the jump.
They can go for owning it. They've got the lasso. Ollie dragging him all the way back into the Stormhammer God Strength. The damage is there. Lornoff is godlike. That is Medusa dead again. Does have buyback, but just doesn't really have the inventory to make it feel like that buyback does much. And that's unfortunate because they were giving Medusa space for a little bit of the game, and it kind of fell apart with that big fight over in the bottom end of the jungle where they fought over that obs. Vacuum into a wall, but just get one shot. Bengen is completely obliterated. They do buyback on the Medusa as well as the Witch Doctor. They're going to go forward for more, looking with the Stone Gaze. The Rolling Thunder bouncing him up into the air. They don't have an Aegis onto this Sven. Stormhammer pulling all the way over to the Supreme, but 23 is surviving. They go to the ult from the Witch Doctor. Is it going to be enough to finally bring down 23? It is, but now they kind of have to get back to base. Bushwhack on a 2. Blink in, coming through from Lornoff. Chakram down, Force Life Drain. There's the Dragon Tail coming out onto Force. Jabs, he doesn't have a lot of mana, but the Acorn shot Supreme. Oh, Gleipnir lands, and that's going to be Supreme dead, looking for more. Norman with the life drain onto Ollie is going to completely drain him of all his life, and Onit's still moving forward. So Aurora just have to be a little bit careful, or does the Medusa have to be careful because they're out of mana? Again, Norman, not much to give in terms of life. Will try to do his best, but Onit explodes, and it looks like Norman is next. 4 heroes dead on the side of MOUZ once again, and they bought back on that Medusa. All they get is Sven and Batrider, but that really isn't enough.
Now, Lornoff popping off in the previous fight, like he didn't die a single time in this game. They just don't have enough. You don't have a Spirit Vessel, you don't have Shiva's Guard, you don't have a break mechanic. So basically nothing that Timbersaw is going to be afraid of. There's not enough stun, so he can blink in and be like, yo guys, what up? And they're going to call it. Okay.
So Aurora take game 1.
Anticlimactic ending in this game 1, but yeah, Aurora, they looked pretty crisp. A little bit of a slow start, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, not having a kill for a good 12, 13 minutes. MOUZ, they need to have a different draft. These are not truly blame them. They got the last pick, Huskar, 24 Huskar. They learned it from Husk Masters, so not much you can do about it, but in this game, I think he's going to be fine. You have the best hero pretty much in the whole game to skip the creep waves and not lane at all. Primal Beast, he hits level 3, he can easily creep skip, drag the creep wave, play behind enemy towers. So yeah, at least that's a good thing for them. But yeah, the other good thing is also Enigma plus Tiny. This is one of the stronger offlane duos. Kezu pointed it out. The best pairing with Enigma is Tiny, and I have to agree because ever since this has been shown in professional Dota, the toss back into Eidolons, this is also a build where Tiny gets a tree grab level 1, and he gets a toss at level 2 instead of Avalanche, so you can reposition someone, get him on top of Enigma. Eidolons do split a lot of damage, throw a blood grenade, so yeah, looks a lot better than what they had in the first game.
So we'll see how mid goes. That's really going to be a big point of contention. Lornoff had a really good game on that Timbersaw into the Pangolier last game. It's Huskar. I mean, we have just praised Lornoff already so much, and I feel like it's kind of well-deserved, right?
For a good reason. Yeah, the guy has been popping off ever since he joined them as a stand-in. They immediately signed him. They're like, you know what? The other teams, other orgs will also see that he's playing well. So, you know what? Let's get him on this roster immediately.
Yeah, we got into the ground floor. We're ready. You know, there might have been something that they saw potentially, like we've said, with that level-up squad that played so well. And we'll see how he does here mid against Supreme, and I'm interested to see, because this feels like when you see a Huskar, especially in like your pubs, you kind of get that sense of dread. but that with like Bloodseeker as well, you can run, but you're probably ruptured, and now you're going up against the Huskar. Good luck.
Yeah, not going to be an easy lane for him by any means. You're playing into Dragonite, one of the heroes that also stop you from any kind of aggression. You go in, your trample has been disabled, you can easily be bounced back by Flame Break, Bushwhack. So not an easy game for Primal. This is also a type of a game where I would love him to see... I want to see Blade Mail into straight-up BKB coming out from him. He's also one of the heroes that is not that affected by these levels in terms of rotation, so he can rotate level 4, level 5. If he can't lane, he can make other lanes much more difficult. So that's what I want to see coming out from Supreme, because, you know, you're playing against Huskar, you're not going to be getting that much out of the lane anyway.
Q, taking a lot of damage. You know, talking about the rotations that we can potentially see, I definitely, with the Primal Beast, use that onslaught, go up towards top. We've seen it a numerous amount of times. I know the one that always comes to my head, we were casting together when Nothing to Say did it a bunch of times with that Primal Beast earlier last year. So, yeah, you kind of have to make something of your game with Primal. And then you kind of hit that point, you hit that BKB. We'll see what you can get done when you hit that point. So, Supreme right now, not exactly enjoying life in this lane, but he's 7-2, so it's not terrible.
I think it's time to drag the creep wave, play behind enemy lines, pick up this 2-minute water rune, refill your bottle. It's doing okay considering the matchup, sitting at 7 CS, but Lorinov has a complete free farm in this one, sitting at 6 denies already, and things are going to get more difficult as time progresses.
On top of that, you've got 23, who is 13-0 in the bottom lane. It is free farming. Usually it's free falling, but it is free farming right now for both him and that Husker. Actually, all of them. I mean, this is, again, the second game in a row where the CS for Aurora just feels perfect.
Pretty much in this lane for Bloodseeker, as long as he's CSing early on, staying at full HP, he's not going to be in trouble. There is a potential that they bring him down from 100 to 0, but everything needs to be perfect. They need to be level 3. Also, Ollie can't stop this aggression with a flame break. So I think 23 in this lane, he's more than fine. And they have a little bit of a combo. Bloodright, it's not as good as it was before. It's not a pure damage anymore. It's magical, so it doesn't work as good against these Eidolons who are resilient to magic resistance.
So, resilient enough to survive, resilient enough to help force, get some CS, and we saw it in the first game. You know, he laned relatively well. I would say they got that tower pretty quickly, and things looked good for him when he was on that Dark Seer initially, but it was like a fight or two in a row where it just was the wrong target with the wall on that Dark Seer, and then he just kind of fell apart.
And there it is, this thing we talked about. Supreme, he hits level 3, needs to start going behind enemy lines. But Lorinov is
a safe spot though, right?
Is chasing him, does have boots of speed, getting blocked by his own creeps a little bit.
Yeah, he'll just go back towards mid to farm.
Oh no, one button to counter what he's doing.
Yeah, but that causes them to lose their boots. So 23 loses those boots on the courier that's killed. So Supreme, he says, you take my CS, I take your courier.
And Supreme also says, I can't farm mid, I take your CS bottom, because he just killed Creep Wave from Enigma. Force is not going to be too happy about that one.
So back to base, back to healing up, 23 low. And you said it, 100 to 0 for First Blood. Ollie is in some trouble too, and this is back-to-back games where the safe lane for Aurora dies, and the support as well.
Yeah, very well executed from MOUZ. Again, getting a First Blood in this bottom lane. Eidolons, when they split, this is the exact same thing we said that could happen. So, Avalanche, toss back, and also Eidolons that did split. It's a lot of damage. Norman doesn't have much mana to work with.
Bloodright, Flame Break, Bushwhack. That is a lot of moving, but not a lot of escaping.
That's going to give him mana, so one way to get mana. And the free TP, actually worth it.
So Narman dying there, and he'll come back. Feeling pretty healthy this time around. Lorinov, you know, we talked about the Primal making moves. When is it that, as a Huskar, you're trying to make something happen? Is it just Armlet?
I think you want to continue to farm up. You don't necessarily need to move. Might move with a TP, but this hero is not good at going, like, walking to a lane. You can also farm this stack. This time around, I don't think there's as many stacks compared to the previous game, because we don't have the heroes that can easily clear those stacks. Maybe on MOUZ side with Gyrocopter, but I see none in the triangle. busy. 6-minute rune. Gonna be amplified damage.
For Q.
Q's gonna pick up, so it might still stick around and try to make something happen in the bottom lane.
Not too desperate to stay top. DK by himself is pretty tanky, but 3 heroes here for MOUZ. Maybe they could get a third on the board. Don't commit to it just yet, and I think they're looking for their way in. And of course, it's usually off in onslaughts to start. And they know where he's at. They hit that flat cannon. They know he's getting that Lotus Petal. Jabs. Maledict, onslaught. Cask is there. They're going to try and get this kill into Jabs. Under the tower, trample.
He might be
fire.
Fine.
Yeah,
Lotus,
Maledict.
magic one, he's okay.
Not looking like it's going to be enough.
And this is what we said. You have this Primal Beast who doesn't care about his levels. He's going to rotate pre-level 6. And in the bottom lane, 23, will cut down his trees.
Trying to hide. Q is here.
Wrong
Doctor. Blood right down, and that's going to silence him up. So 23 is able to walk away at least for now, and I don't think they have the speed to catch him and get a cast out.
What's going on with these inventories? Ever since we buffed Null Talisman, it looks so aesthetically ugly. Like what is that?
What do you mean?
Raid Band, Null Tally, and then he had the Blades of Attack, Boots of Speed, couple of branches in his backpack. 7 minutes in.
There's an item for each slot. There's the necklace piece, the headpiece, the boots. You have to fill every slot.
Yeah, where's his bracer at?
Yeah, well, there's 2 bracers right there. There we go. And that's 1 for each arm. I mean, that's perfect. And then gloves over that. Bracer spot and a glove spot. That's how it's done. So, 8 minutes into the game, Huskar's top of the net worth. Really no surprise with where Lorinov was at, not really being contested too much in the moment. He's level 8, has that armlet ready to go. And Jab's doing what he did in the last game too, just stationary in his lane and farming away. I assume it's going to be with these double bracers back to the blink like he did last time.
Yeah, you need that blink initiation. Bloodseeker doesn't provide you with anything. Huskar as well. So you need to make some kind of a play. Ollie on a Batrider doesn't have much gold at the moment. Q as well, he continues to farm up on this Hoodwink. They need some levels, especially on Hoodwink, who's only level 4 at the moment.
It was a very massive difference in CS and GPM between Lorinov and Supreme. Because right now it's 72 to the 29 of Supreme. Yeah, it isn't great. But these Eidolons, again, will do exactly what they did in game number 1, where it was the Nether Blast of a Pugna with the Darkseer.
3, they found him.
Yeah, Avalanche toss. 23. Yeah, he's very dead. So only gets the kill into 23, and how will Aurora respond? Vision there for MOUZ to know what's coming. Maledict, Pulverize, and Onit even responds and comes top. They get a kill on a Jabs.
Some good moves.
Yeah, really good moves from MOUZ.
Onit making a move from bottom lane to the top. 1,000 damage. Magical. Gyrocopter maxing out Rocket Barrage. So you'll always have something to kill the Bloodseeker, to kill this Dragonite. And what is Primal Beast going for? He's not going for anything because he is extremely poor right now.
In to get some more gold. Maledict on Sop. He'll be stopped in his tracks. At least for now. Force is coming over level 6, and the Midnight Pulse down. Pulverize again. Maledict isn't doing enough. Lorinov with that ult, but eventually falls to Bengen.
Maledict, Midnight Pulse, a lot of overtime damage that he can't toggle through. So nice moves. MOUZ playing a really good Dota in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I was happy with the patience from Force, because that toss was right on top of him, and I assumed he was setting up for a black hole, but knows they've got the damage, holds it, and still now you'll have the omnipresence of it. And this time Bengen, he's level 6 before 14 minutes. Way better.
Yeah, might see. I don't think we've even seen Death Ward being used in the previous game. Maybe there was like one fight or something, but he was in a really bad spot. And Lorinov in the triangle as a Huskar. You want to farm up your next item after finishing off Armlet. has a BKB in his quick buy. A lot of the times you will see Haven's Halberd, great against Gyro, of course, having some extra region amplification on top of it and having a disarm. So he might still swap things around, but yeah, I think it's safer that you just pick up a BKB in this one. Since you get on top of the Gyrocopter, you get on top of Primal Beast, so you want to stop some of that magic damage and also have a free reign. Nothing other than BKB and Pulverize can stop you from getting in. There's no save whatsoever on Aurora's side. There is no, like, we're talking about 11 minutes, so there are no Glimmer Capes, no mechs or anything, but there are no save abilities, so he will need to toggle for himself.
Now, to all the people in chat that are scared to armlet toggle, how difficult is something like that?
Well, it's a one button, so it's...
Yeah, but buttons are scary. You've not been down in the trenches, have you?
No.
It's scary. We're down there, and I definitely use the literal definition of we there. We are down there and scared to do things like that, even when it looks so easy.
Lornov continues to farm up. Both him and Ulnit are on top of the net worth, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ulnit having a really good game. These two rotations, and Supreme will get a kill on 23.
Just getting it done, Rupture or not. Able to kill off 23 again. That is the third time that this Bloodseeker has died. So, unfortunately, they just really haven't been able to get off the ground.
I don't know, I'm kind of glad that he died. It's because his inventory looks so ugly on Bloodseeker, so I can justify it.
Necklace, headpiece, boots,
Smoke,
glove, and a
a
javelin.
Blink Dagger ready to jump in.
Blink Dragon Tail coming through. Force is in trouble. He's going to be lassoed, sharp shot, and killed. As they get 23 again, he just respawned. So, dead for 23 seconds.
I don't know. I'm not glad about this. That this is his fourth death at the moment.
Going for
so
more.
far away from Maelstrom. So things are looking good for MOUZ. Once they group up with Mech on Enigma, going into BKB immediately. Ulnit is playing with the team, buying all these small items, Falcon Blade, Crystallis, and then going into Aghanim Scepter. That's pretty standard stuff on Gyrocopter, but it gets him involved early on.
Yeah, he's been involved, I mean, from the get-go, right? Like, he was top after getting a kill bottom. He's not afraid at all to really get things done. So, quite the impact from this Gyro going into the Ags. Has that Falcon Blade Crystallis, like you mentioned, and there's a stack to take. Couple stacks overall, call down, just to help out. And that's easy gold for Ulnit. We talked about how this Primal Beast was struggling to get gold. Now it's really 23, who has nothing.
Yeah, he's really poor. Q again going for Maelstrom immediately on a Hoodwink. A lot of the times you'll see, especially when Cred plays it, he does pick up Road of Atos, which is great for setting up your own skills and also keeping people in place. Let's say Enigma tries to go for a Black Hole, stopping Primal Beast pre-BKB, charging in. 23 might die to a Black Dragon here.
Had to fall back in Bloodright.
I thought he was about to rupture that dragon.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Only level 8 compared to Ulnit, who's level 12, about to finish off his Aghanim Scepter in 1,500 gold. He's not the carry. I think in this game he's going to be playing more like an off-lane, but they do have two other heroes who can carry the game. You have Dragon Knight, you have Huskar, and soon Lorinov about to finish off his BKB. I think that's going to be the timing where you want to threaten Roshan on Dire's side.
Yeah, so maybe Smoke, get a kill, Roche, go. They've got Blink now on Narman. So he's ready to make that jump and go, and Ollie might be the target. So Ob's catching some vision here of Narman and Ulnit. As they're placing their own vision down, and they have Huskar moving over, so Lorinov, he'll be in the vicinity, but They've smoked, they death ward. We've seen it with the Maledict 23. He's taking a lot of damage here, and now
he's got
Armin, he's in some trouble. Call downs used, jabs blinking in, goes to the Dragon Tail. Bengen actually gets the kill on a 23. They've got the last zone to hold it. They get the kill onto a second. And for losing 23 to just Bengen, they might want more. Maledict is down, Dragon Tail is there, Lornoff is in, Onslaught with the trample, Lornoff just dies. Acorn shot jumps around only once, and jabs with the Maledict on him is in some trouble. Bushwhack locks down Supreme for a moment, they cut that tree, but that will deter them from moving forward even further. However, this is not great for Aurora.
Definitely not. They lost 23 one more time. He still doesn't have a single item 17 minutes into the game. Uh-oh, Primal Beast BKB getting delivered. Can he get out?
Oh, he looks like he can. Rupture's used. Bloodright is down on a 2. It's the Rupture on the Tiny. They end up getting Supreme out of here. Force comes over, and he's got Black Hole if needed. Narman is killed, but Jabs is the trade.
And they also saved Supreme. That's what matters. Supreme surviving, getting his BKB. So for the next fight, he's going to have that available. 23, 200 gold away from Maelstrom. That's like he's he's really struggling.
18-minute Maelstrom. That's not great. If I had to put it in.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It really is.
I was trying to sprinkle it in a little bit. I will say though, there's going to be another Maelstrom on the Hoodwink.
So that's good.
Yeah,
Q almost finished Maelstrom before carry. So ooh, I think that's going to get dewarded immediately. Yeah, there it is. Center ward already down. Aurora struggling in this second game. Curse of the Bloodseeker. Also in the previous fight, Lornoff was unable to get a BKB off. I think that fight, he got a little surprised by Onslaught, turns off his armlet, and just gets blasted.
Yeah, not great. That's for sure. Smoke in from MOUZ, and let's see if they can find their opening. I mean, it has just been 23 in their sights, a lot.
Radiant are scanning.
Ollie is scouting for now. They do have this Blink Dagger on Tiny, so if they catch vision of him, they might just jump, Avalanche, toss, Onslaught. Ollie's probably dead. There isn't anybody here from the side of Aurora to react, but Ollie able to kind of hide in the trees and stay alive. So it is opening up some time and space, but how much of that will matter?
I would also love to see MOUZ going for Roshan, stealing away Aegis from Huskar lineup. Could be pretty good. Jabs. Ooh, he blinks out, but
oh no,
get out of trouble.
Yeah, Pulverize, and there's the homing missile with another rocket barrage.
They do have more than enough damage to bring down Roche. That's why they have Sustain coming out from Mech. You have a Gyrocopter with Aghanim Scepter, so damage is not gonna be lacking. Bengen also with a little bit of extra Sustain, going for Holy Locket this time around, maxing out Voodoo Restoration.
Dire's top tower is
Smoke bought by Armin, so I expect another move, and like you said, potentially one that goes towards or ends at Roche.
I think they can force a tier 2 tower and go immediately for Roche.
Now it's not only 23 behind, but Jabs is falling behind too, and you said, you know, it really wasn't going to be 23 who is carrying this game, but Jabs as well as Lornoff, and now Jabs is kind of falling off.
They didn't take any good fights in the last 5 or so minutes. It's going to be Smoke. BKB, 9-second BKB, still ready on Lornoff.
This could be the timing, but it could be a bait. Supreme farming just on the edge of this smoke. Ollie as well looking for an opportunity. Blink Avalanche as well as the toss. That's going to be out of the Bloodseeker. 23 is going to be in a lot of trouble. They'll get the kill on Armin, but there might be a trade. It will be. That's 23 who ends up dead. Sharpshooter lands out of the Enigma. They're chasing with the Midnight Pulse down. The call-down's used. Lornoff on the run. He will get to the low ground with the homing missile chasing Jabs, and so is the rest of the side of MOUZ. They were looking at maybe going into Lornoff.
23, he can't catch a break.
No.
This is his 6th death in the game, 0, 6, and 2.
on your carry. Things are looking really rough right now. We haven't seen Enigma using a black hole. He also does have 9-second BKB, but Force has been very patient. I feel like it comes down to MOUZ having a much stronger lineup this time around. They have a good front line. You have Primal Beast, you have Tiny Gyrocopter who can stand the ground and soak up a lot of damage, set things up for a potential black hole.
We haven't seen it yet, but every time it feels like it's about to be used, Aurora kind of trying to find the...
Bad Rider's going to get this one. It's just the way it is. Lorinov almost dies, and okay, that's a bit of a better one. Having a boomerang for all the boomers out there.
Not just a boomerang, but a hunter's boomerang. Hunting in the night. Or really the daytime right now, but what can you do? Force looking for an opportunity to jump in. He's going for the Blink Dagger next. So that's really been the hesitation, I would say, with the Enigma. Trying to get a black hole. It's all about walking positioning when you don't have that blink. But if you find an opening, could just be a complete wipe for MOUZ. And, you know, even with them up 6 kills, it's even net worth. It's not that bad, and that's also because of the fact that this Hoodwink's getting a lot of farm.
Yeah, Q has been very active, and he's just bringing another component. By component, I mean Crystallis. So he wants to scale his, like, you know, step aside. He even overtook 23 on net worth.
Yeah, 23, I'm sorry to say, I'm the carry.
I think it's necessary. So he wants to have cheap damage early on, now turning that into more physical damage-oriented build.
There's the BKB for Gyro. 2k ahead of this Huskar. Gleipnir finally for 23, who's going into the BKB, then Axe. That
Good luck
blood
with that.
mist.
He needs to farm. With this tempo, he needs another 25-30 minutes to farm these 2 items.
Oh, yeah.
MOUZ a little bit slow in taking a Roche. I don't think Aurora would contest it anyway. You're playing into Tiny, you're playing into Enigma with a BKB Black Hole. The only ability you have is Lasso, but that's not easily executed if Enigma uses Black Hole on top of him. So, yeah, this one's going to be picked up by Gyrocopter, and I want to see some more aggression. I think they're in a good spot, even though net worth looks the same. I feel with the heroes that they have right now that they can easily take fights. BKB available on Gyro. Your Primal Beast about to finish off Aghanim Scepter. That break mechanic can become super handy. You're playing against Huskar, Bloodseeker, and Dragonite, so you can break multiple heroes. Ooh, Ollie's getting scouted.
He's getting scouted and Force is nearby. He'd love to get a kill just to get that Blink Dagger, but they've got the Avalanche to toss into the Pulverize, so thrown up into the air and slam back down. And there's that Ags completed for Supreme, just has to fly out. It's been kills, but, you know, Lorinov, he's getting his farm. And so is Jabs, who's caught up to Supreme. Yeah, I would say, I mean, this MOUZ lead, it could get derailed pretty quickly if we see Aurora take one big fight.
Yeah, definitely, but this time around, they're not afraid. They're the one dictating the tempo, having the Aegis, going for the tier 2 tower, and also, like, this lineup scales really well into the late game. You have displacement tools, you have Enigma. Eventually, if this game goes on for another 25-30 minutes, you will have Octarine Refresher available. 23 does kill the creep wave with Gleipnir and Blood Rage.
Needs to be very careful. The second he threw that Gleipnir out, they were looking. There goes that tier 2 top, and MOUZ owning a lot of the map, but not outfarming their opponents quickly enough. So, 26 minutes in, maybe Jab's looking for an opportunity. Blink Dragon Tail Bloodright is down, and they've got the bushwhack. Black hole, but a lasso to stop it immediately. 4 Sentins up dead. They get the Aegis out of the hands of the Gyrocopter. They trample the Pulverize. It's onto the Huskar, but it's going to be enough damage. It will be. Lornoff ends up dead. The break is onto the Dragon Knight. The Bloodright is down. It's not going to land on anybody. Toss up into the air. Avalanche used. Maldic is there. They've got the break once again. And they're trying to get this kill to Jabs, but he is quite tanky. Homing Missile is going to come onto him eventually, but the Gleipnir stops him in their tracks. The Bloodright's down again. Finally, Jabs dies. There's not much that 23 can do. He's throwing out Gleipnir and Bloodright from a distance, but he's not really able to make that impact.
He can't
with right clicks.
No, he just can't. If he gets close, he's gonna die. I want to see the damage coming out from Hoodwink. Yeah, this is as I expected it to be. 7,000 damage. This is like 7-8 Acorn shots in the previous fight. And that's pre-dataless, because he does have enough money to buy a Demon Edge. Enigma, as we said, he needs to be much more careful about Lasso. There was such a clutch play coming out from Ollie immediately. And total healing done to allies, 60%, 20,000 healing so far.
Avalanche, break toss, Maledic, 23. He is just gonna die there to the Maledic popping. Call on use again, Lornoff pulverized.
No BKB.
Can he survive? Lasso's there, the damage, all the cast, the damage, Ollie, Lornoff, both dead, down goes Q, and only Jabs is alive as MOUZ. Well, they are just destroying Aurora right now.
Yeah, they drafted themselves a much better draft in this second game, and it really shows. This is much easier to execute. Narman with another toss back, playing out of his mind right now, finding these opportunities every single time somebody shows. Suddenly 8K gold lead. They could close out this game. I think they can close it out right now, because they have Satanic available on Gyrocopter. No Black Hole for 50, but BKBs are coming off cooldown. You can feel that Aurora are very weak at the moment. So time to use it. Nemesis Curse just got picked up by Holnit. That's a lot of damage increase on Gyro.
This is
Server ward has been planted. Norman thinking about playing around it, otherwise it's gonna get dewarded.
Little Wisdom Rune pick up for Force. You can just see how far ahead this Gyro is now. It was close, now it's not.
Double the net worth of this position 5 Bloodseeker.
Yikes. That's very concerning. This obs forward.
Wait, so we went from not great to this is concerning.
I said yikes to start. I feel like yikes' connotation holds.
Ever since minute 6.
I'm still concerned. I'm also aware of how bad it is.
Oh, he slowed him down.
That tree is a homing missile.
Another blink. I don't think he's getting out of this one. They know.
Oi, Jabs. Onslaught in. He's tanky. He's got that going for him. But Maledict, break mechanic of Supreme, the Pulverize, and eventually
they're killing
Jabs will die.
a lot of kills to Bengen.
Yeah, they're letting the Maledict pop. So 8,000 net worth lead, 6-0-10. And this was really, considering the start of the lane and the way the game started for Primal Beast, this was a game where Supreme needed to show up, and he did.
Yeah, he was playing into a really bad matchup, but sitting at 0 deaths, started the creep skip. 6-0-10 on him. This break mechanic, Narman is in one more time. Ollie.
Yeah, blink, avalanche, toss, one pulverize, just slam him into the ground. Nobody's here to defend. 23 wants to farm.
Space.
Yeah. Ping a couple times.
Like he's trying to get his BKB up, but needs another 400 gold. There is a tier 2 tower available in the bottom lane, so they can get megas, but you will lose 2 sides.
Might even lose this Huskar. Oh boy, Lornoff. BKB, where is he going? Trying to get the damage out on the Enigma. He's surviving for a little bit longer. The right click's on a Narman, but eventually this BKB runs out. He is disarmed, he is dead, and Narman will get credit for that kill.
Yeah, I think we're going to go to game 3. I haven't seen anything from Aurora in the past 20 minutes. They're just trying to farm up their BKBs. Even with the BKBs, like damage coming out from the Bloodseeker, it's not going to be enough. Like this hero dies relatively quickly. You're playing into 2-farm Gyrocopter at this point. He has Daedalus, he has Satanic, and look what Olnit has in his quick buy. Another break mechanic, going for Silver Edge. Not the most popular item nowadays, because the build-up is pretty terrible.
There's that Daedalus for Q. I will say after game 1, it felt like an episode of Tom and Jerry, where Tom the cat trying to take out Jerry the mouse. And you hit that halfway mark of the episode, and all of a sudden, Jerry the mouse is winning the fight.
Yeah, Jerry always wins.
Yeah. Paints a fake wall or a tunnel. You just run into it. That's what it feels like happened to Aurora here. They were rolling, and they hit that fake tunnel.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So they waited with the mallet. Tier 2 bottom, that's gonna die.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I feel like that was a really old show to reference. But I'm sure people understand Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I've seen that episode.
Especially because it's mouse. Ooh, lasso in. Rupture used. All right, hold it. To try and get there, there's the black hole, and that's going to be Q Dead, who had a lot of the damage in these previous fights. Down goes Lorinoff. Ollie falls. That's 3 heroes dead on the side of Aurora. They buy back on Lorinoff, trying to make something happen. Jabs goes away with that Ag, so he does have that pathing that allows him to get up onto the high ground. Gleipnir used. Homing missile coming in with the BKB. He'll run into it before it runs out, but the damage coming out on the 23 is not enough to get the kill just yet. So Jabs now hit with the onslaught coming out from Supreme. The uproar is there. They've got the tower in the bottom lane. They've got the break onto the Dragonite, the Avalanche as well as the toss. They've got this Dragonite dead, and he'll be gone for 63 seconds. The Gleipnir doesn't do enough. GG is called, and it's 1-1 as MOUZ take game number 2.
I think neutral item on 23 tells you a lot about how he wanted to play these fights. He had Psychic Headband on a Bloodseeker so he can keep the distance, never get too close to a fight. But yeah, MOUZ, I think they are upgrading a draft with each game. Unlucky, this is not a BO5, so this draft needs to be on point. Also, this is one of the few times, I don't remember last time I've seen Venomancer and Viper in the same game. You also have Keeper of the Light, you have Tiny, so this is the type of a draft that comes online super quickly. You have some tower damage, you have sustain from Keeper of the Light. Trigger. ESL 1 Birmingham, Keeper of the Light was one of the heroes that looked extremely good with each game played, especially when BetBoom, when they were playing it, GPK, he popped off multiple times. You get into that Spirit Vessel, 7-8 minutes, depending how much farm you get. Also want to see if they're going to be blocking the big camps for Coddle, because you just, like Coddle on Radiant's side, feels much better because your big camp is closer, and it seems like they know. They might try to get a kill from it if Aurora decides to go in and try to block the camp.
So they both have obs down. Get a little bit of information. Now, you said you don't really see Viper Veno. I know I love being that guy, but in my pubs, I like 6 of the last 10 games I've played Viper, Veno in my lane. I know it's not going to be that here, but I love the toxic combo. It feels like a tag team duo straight out of the WWF.
Yeah, it's not very common. Panel did discuss this Lifestealer pick. It's a good Lifestealer game. He comes online quickly, builds into Radiance, builds into Manta style. I think this is Manta style type of a game when you play into Vena Viper, Spirit Vessel, so you don't necessarily need to use Rage combined to, like, you know, compared to some old build with SNY. I think Manta style, a lot of value that you get from the item.
What about this matchup here mid? Because we've seen the Timber Pango, where it felt like Supreme wasn't really favored. Then it felt like the last game, Supreme wasn't supposed to get a lot out of the lane, and he really didn't. He made his own game by rotating and doing as much as he could to get said farm. But now, Coddle Puck,
once you get
what's
level
the
2,
matchup?
you put a point in phase shift, and you're going to be dodging those Illuminate blasts, so Puck is going to be okay. Like, you play against Coddle, you need a hero to be able to get on top of him, so you have Centaur, whole team can get on top of him. Jabs and bottom in a little bit of trouble here. Mengen, can he get out? Fairy Fire available.
Into the Shadow Realm. Juke avoiding each other, and actually the strike goes out on the Ulnit. But that's fine. Just a little bit of damage done there to the Alchemist. And, you know, something I want to speak of is also that Lauren off puck, because we've spoken about it multiple times without seeing him on it already in this series, and it's something that, you know, to throw it back to something we've said and reiterated a couple times, you know, seeing him on level up with this hero was really what brought my eye and attention to him.
Yeah, he's very good at playing these elusive heroes. Storm Spirit, Queen of Pain, Puck. These are like heroes from the previous patches, but this guy has a pretty big hero pool. He plays all the meta heroes, and we can already see Supreme stacking these two camps. Didn't even place a Sentry Ward down, so a little bit surprised that they didn't block any of these camps.
All right, if we could get the stacked camps stats already right now, thank you.
Supreme.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you, guys. Oh, such love for production. Jabs with the stun.
This bottom lane is the first blood lane for sure. They are playing so aggressive. Ulnit, low on HP.
He should be fine even with the Shadow Realm strike.
Yeah, he's fine. It's just that he needs to bring a healing salve. And there it is. It's on the courier. He knows the matchup.
So salves up and also getting closer to that 3-minute mark. So we'll see where the control is for this upcoming Lotus Petal. Venomous Gale, it's not amazing just by itself, level 1. But 6 more seconds, Ulnit kind of camping that area by the Lotus Pool. Charging up a stun even to make sure that he could secure this. And he's got that Lotus Petal. So let's go back up towards top. That one's going to be picked up by Force. And my question is, do we see another Force staff?
On Viper, sure. You want to scale, you build into Dragonlance. That's pretty much your core item. And you're also playing against Lifestealer. You want to be able to push yourself out of trouble. So, yeah, most definitely. That's basically your core item in this game.
Does Force only play heroes which core items are Force staff?
Oh, yeah, he played Enigma in the previous game. Very good hero to pick up a Force staff. Bottom lane, Ulnit in a bit of a trouble here.
Yeah, jabs, especially on Centaur, it's one of those heroes that you just double edge and put so much damage out that you can get first blood. And you were right. You said this lane was going to be the first blood lane, and it is. And Ulnit is the one who gives it up. This time,
it's so tricky.
Aurora gets it.
Yeah, he's full HP, thinking about playing aggressive, and then just dies from 100 to 0.
Yeah. So both previous games, it was MOUZ who got the first blood, first and second blood in both games. And Aurora this time, they're the ones who pull out first blood, and they've got themselves a 1,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, this is such a strong lane. Ulnit, he's cooking, but Jabs is pretty much full HP, has double ring of protection. Playing against Alchemist, you want to have that extra armor. And this lane, this duo, Dark Willow plus Centaur, reminds me of Xtreme Gaming. They do love to run this lane if Centaur's off to a good start, and that means you get a Blink Dagger up, and ever since Bedlam can be used on your allies, makes this combo even more powerful.
Phoenix. Oh, he's going to die there to Narman, and that is the first kill on the board there for MOUZ.
Yeah, I believe Lorinov stole some of the creeps.
Not getting that stack in time, but we'll take out the creeps. It was talked about on the panel, this combination's pretty strong. Avalanche toss, back out of the Viper, output that right-click damage. If you were, you know, without Icarus Dive especially, you just kind of die.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to Enigma, where you have this overwhelming damage. You just need to be able to lock onto a hero and have an extra stun.
Venomous Gale again. But again, just by itself, it's not amazing. Couple of right clicks coming through. Yes, Supreme's up here in the top lane.
Good luck.
Got the toss back. It was up in the air before the Illuminate went off, but a lot of damage on Ollie. So 23 ends up dead, and Ollie with the urn on him, ring around the tree, and that's where the grave will be dug, because Ollie is dead, and Supreme's got a double kill. Getting in some trouble with the Bramble Maze, latching onto him. He's trying to get into the tree. Shadow Realm strike to get the kill, so Q gets that. Stun being charged up now by the Alchemist, trying to keep vision, but can't find Q, who will also take that Lotus Petal out of the pool.
Yeah, good start for MOUZ. Again, this top lane doing quite a lot of work, and Keeper of the Light is one of the heroes that rotates early on, gets that level 6, continues to farm up. Spirit Vessel about to be completed. Needs another 200 gold, so yeah, Spirit Vessel against Lifestealer, and we're gonna see that again. Narman.
That was the kill initially on the Ollie the first time.
Yeah. But Narman playing Tiny 2 times in a row, that's gonna feel really good. You're already warmed up. It's gonna go in again. There is an Observer Ward.
I mean, going from the first game on Tiny to this game on Tiny, you could see already a lot of growth. So, Narman, just...
That was a good one. That was a good one. Not yet. It still needs, you know, a couple of extra minutes to start growing.
He'll get there. But you can see already, it's another game where 23 really just doesn't feel comfortable in lane.
Ooh, that Observer Ward that we mentioned will scout out Supreme, so they know something's going on. They even placed the Sentry Ward, so they felt pretty comfortable with the TP rotation, but Sentry Ward is out of the reach, so not gonna find anything here.
You just gotta commit to leaving, though. I think the staying even in the vicinity over by those camps is dangerous, because they're gonna pressure this tower, and when you've got the creeps on the tower, that allows you to come back here, and now 23's in trouble. They've got the toss up into the air, the Rage TP attempt. Avalanche stops that TP, and now 23's on the run.
It's not enough. Level 1 Rage, if you don't use it immediately.
There's the Illuminate kill.
Avalanche.
Meanwhile, Lornoff gets a kill on a Bengen. All happening at the same time. But yeah, I mean, creeps pushing up to the tower. They stayed too close.
Lornoff will need to match these rotations coming out from Keeper of the Light, because Supreme has been super active, involved in 3 out of 4 kills, got 3 last hits, and look what he has in his quick buy. This is something that, you know, happens from time to time when you're playing into these elusive heroes. You're playing into like Lifestealer, who has Rage, so that's going to be great against him, and also the elusive hero that I mentioned is Puck. So have something to silence them off immediately. We'll skip Boots of Travel for now.
Lornoff, the most farmed hero in the game at the moment. And like you said, you'd like to see him match the movements. They did get a kill over mid while that was all going on. You know, they used that Dream Coil. It'll be off cooldown in about 15 seconds, so maybe Lornoff goes and gets something else there, especially once Stampede is off cooldown. But I'm really checking to see, yeah, Jabs, he's halfway to this blink. Because that blink initiation, especially with Dream Coil, is going to be massive, and this kill could be pretty big for them.
It's a great time.
Ammo Maze, and the Terrorize lands on a 2, but it's not going to matter. Jabs is still dead. Q trying to do everything he can, and now they find this Phoenix once more. Q comes top. That's a Sunray and a death. They'll go with the Bedlam right on top of Narman. They get the kill there. Force is going to fall. Lornoff needed to make that rotation, and it counts because he gets a kill there on the Force.
Yeah, Lornoff, the haste rotation. Does have TP ready, didn't even commit with the coil, so they could still try to go and maybe get one more kill. Bedlam is off cooldown, so if they can catch Supreme in the jungle with the coil, that should be an easy kill for them. Smoke available on Q. Let's see if they decide to pop it.
They refilled the bottle. I wouldn't expect why not, you know? The vision isn't exactly amazing, I would say. Deep for the side of Aurora. They know where Force is. Right click's coming in. 23 Force to infest. But they need to get out maybe a little bit deeper vision down. Instead, they'll come across Narman, and this is fine for them. They'll use that Dream Coil and get a kill onto the Tiny. Right clicks in, Rage, and dead in base.
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
Force
Doesn't
still
have
needs to
TP
leave, though.
available, scan connected, so let's see how he plays this one out.
They don't have Dream Coil, but they do have Bramble Maze, so the right click's coming into Lornoff. They've got this Keeper of the Light showing up. TP immediately out from this Dark Willow. Lornoff again with an Illusory Orb, trying to jump back, get some distance. This Solar Bind is really slowing him down and gives him a chance to go with that ult from Bengen. Lornoff's running, but the Spirit Vessel on him, he'll pop.
There's way too much overtime damage, plus a Solar Bind amplifying all that magic damage. Viper as well.
This is leaving Olnit to farm, and he's
That's exactly what
close
you
to
need
the
to do.
Radiance.
Like, you need to keep them busy between 7 up to 12 minutes, where Alchemist is most vulnerable. So
Right.
you want to, make some kind of a rotation, and you can see Jabs, he knows where Alchemist is farming. He's drawing on a minimap. We got to do something about it, because he's about to finish it off. 700 gold away, that's 3 camps.
Almost has it already. It's very close. And obviously an inflated net worth, a 3,000 net worth lead. Bramble Maze placed down. Bengen will traverse the maze and escape just out of the reach of Aurora. So they're getting close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and it's just leaving so much space here for Alchemist.
You really love horseshoes and hand grenades.
It's such an old saying. Infest, Gale, right clicks, gonna pop. And they go to the Viper Strike, right clicks with the Rage, the Blood Grenade. He's ticking down. Whee! It's close.
Again, they are giving him the treatment. 23, 3 deaths already. That's a big difference. Supreme bounces him back.
Yeah, that's great. Terrorize won't matter. Bengen gets the kill. Supernova even committed. Blink, Host Stomp, but an Avalanche. Supernova's gonna pop eventually. Supreme's already dead. Lornoff gets the kill, so the stun is enough that came in from the Centaur. But again, all this time left to the Alchemist. Will it be enough?
He continues to farm up. Radiant's about to be delivered. 13 minutes with only 1 death to his name, which is more than fine. As soon as you pick up a Blink Dagger, it's time to join, play with the team. He's not showing anything on Keeper of the Light. He wants to be able to surprise, get 1 big kill out of his Orchid. Cornucopia away, 800 gold. They should know something's cooking, because he's not investing. He doesn't have Windlace. He doesn't have Boost of Travel. Not picking anything up. Maybe they think, okay, I'm playing against Puck, Arquillo. I need a BKB.
Host Stomp into the Shadow Realm. Sunray, Bedlam on top of the Centaur. They get the kill in a force. It's really, it is great rotation damage when you've got all that available. But like you said, Olnit's going to get involved when he gets this Blink Dagger, and will that be the jumping off point here for MOUZ in terms of being able to really fight back when you've got a jump like that coming out from Aurora?
Every single time there's Coil available, there's Stampede available, I feel that they should try to do something. They need to relieve some pressure off 23, because he is nowhere near his Radiance. Sitting at only 2.6 gold at the moment, 14 minutes in. He was also thinking about picking up Armlet as your first item, but yeah, I think it's time to skip it. Keep this Gloves of Haste as a casual item.
And there's that Orchid, so I would assume off that you're gonna smoke, because you decided all this time not to show the Orchid. So now you gotta make it worthwhile, right? You gotta find Puck, I would say.
That's the hero you want to kill, but look at what he has in the bottle. Countered already. Illusion Rune, ready to go. That's a bit unfortunate.
They are kind of grouped up together, too.
They saw it, so they bailed. They're like, okay, maybe we can't kill Puck until his Illusion Rune is out of the bottle. So could try to kill 23 one more time.
They just got to find him, and right now he's back in his own jungle. Safe, theoretically, behind a tier 1 tower. But if he moves out of position, that could be a big issue. A lot of obs here set up for the side of the Dire, too. This is getting them a lot in the river, but it's not going to see this smoke. Scan doesn't connect from the side of MOUZ, and they really want to get this Puck. They jump him with the Tiny. That's the start they need. Illusory Orb. Johnson in the lane, that could be a problem. Doesn't actually go for it, and he's sitting in the trees, trying to be aware of the positioning. Gets around, but Supreme, he sees him, and now has that silence. There's the Illusion Rune, the Blink to host up the Terrorize. Oh, it's all lining up for
this is
Aurora.
disaster.
This is a real big problem with the Dream Coil down. Supreme, Narman, as well as Bangan are going to die. The Supernova pops, Olnit stunned up, and that's going to be a TP attempt, but a death nonetheless.
Oh,
as
this
Aurora
is how
clean
you
up.
back into the game. Like this, all of this on top of the Illusion Rune. Having Illusion Rune in the bottle, being able to remove the Orchid, and now after seeing that one, he immediately queues up Yule Scepter, so we'll have that, and also Yule Scepter completed on queue, so value that you're gonna get from this Orchid is not really gonna be there anymore, because there will be, these Manta Styles, things that you can dispel it off with easily, and they're not too happy about, because you have an Alchemist lineup, you have Keeper of the Light, these heroes will fall off, and we're gonna see that again.
The host stops have been on point. Just poof. 4 euros.
And Sunray, the Supernova in the back lines combined with the Dream Coil is just way too much. You either need to snap the coil, get stunned, or you need to have some range heroes to be able to attack it. Also, Force decided to pick up, like, his itemization is not something that I've seen. He thinks differently about itemizing.
Right.
If we go back to game 1 on the Darkseer with the Blink Dagger and the Force Staff on Darkseer immediately.
Solarbind with the Orchid, Spirit Vessel. This is the target you want. And the Orchid burns him out. As Supreme getting a kill there on a 23. So much damage. Whee. 1,600 done there by Kato.
Amplifying the damage of Soulburn with his Solarbind. Magic resist reduction is 35%. These are some big numbers from Coddle.
Upgraded that poison attack, helping them push these buildings, and they get the tier 2 tower. Just trying to maybe open up a little bit more map space.
I think it's fine in a game where you're like dominating, where you are keeping the tempo, you are the one controlling Roshan, you have like super farmed Alchemist, so you want to go and try to end the game as fast as possible. But yeah, this time around, I think he needs another item. He needs a little bit of a protection of his own. So yeah, buying a Force Staff will turn that into Hurricane Pike.
They got scanned out, so they bail on Roche. Unbeknownst to them, they got scanned out, but they went in there for a moment, maybe assumed the worst. They were right. But this looks like a clash waiting to happen. Both teams kind of on the edge of where they're able to jump, and nobody makes a move. There are 4 heroes up top for the side of MOUZ, while 23 is trying to farm up as best he can. He's had a rough game and is still sitting here, least farmed core. It's a little bit different in these games. You don't really have that support that farms like a Hoodwink we've seen in the last 2. So we're not really seeing that 4th core.
Yeah, you can start scaling on Dark Willow, but you need a little bit more time. 3 Yule Scepters already on Aurora.
They're ready for this.
19 minutes. They're so ready to dispel themselves. Finally, Radiance comes in. 19 minutes.
They smoked on MOUZ. A pick is potentially Roche.
Look at him go. Kobold leading the charge.
Blink, Avalanche, toss back, right clicks in. There's the Orchid, but there's the Yules. But is it going to be enough to survive? Bramble Maze is down, the Illuminate is there, but the Supernova goes off. They go to the Stampede, but 23 took a lot of damage. They go to the Infest into the Dark Willow. They're going with the Dream Coil onto the back lines. They're looking over to try and get the kill on a Force. They'll take out Bang to start. Solar binds onto Ollie. They'll take out the Phoenix. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Illuminate, that's going to land with a toss up into the air onto the Centaur. They get the kill to Jabs. That's going to be 2 heroes down on the side of Aurora. And they found the unstable concoction to land on a Q. He goes into the Shadow Realm, places down the Bramble Maze. Right clicks coming in from 23. Force trying to survive as it's a TP out from 23. He leaves. Force is alive, and 3 heroes die on the side of Aurora.
Even without being able to kill the egg immediately, they still win this fight. The overtime damage starts to kick in from Noxious Plague. Viper sitting his ground. He's super tanky, and also now with a BKB online for Alchemist, I don't think they're going to be too afraid to take these fights.
And they're looking bottom towards Roche. mean, this was the objective before that fight. Same could still be said. This is what you want. Now it feels a little bit easier after taking a fight, but everybody's still, back alive for Aurora. It wasn't exactly the longest respawn time.
I don't think they take this fight. I feel they have no Stampede, they have no egg.
Yeah.
So gonna be very difficult to approach it. Minus armor is gonna be through the roof. Having Viper, you get armor reduction by 1 with each stack. You have acid spray on top of it. Does he have level 15 talent? So there's gonna be more armor for his allies, and going into AC next.
There's that Hurricane Pike. Something we did see the Viper struggle with in that fight was distance control.
Yeah.
But Hurricane Pike will help that out.
He can also be the siege engine. Usually you don't have mana, but since you have Keeper of the Light in the team, you're not too afraid to put that on a right click and kill the tower. He didn't even get the last hit on the tower.
Disappointing.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Jab's losing that courier. They're over here by the secret shop, kind of giving away positioning. Not sure they really matter all too much, giving that away. So 23 will continue to farm. You've got the Aegis on Force.
I guess that's because they want a siege. Right now, Alchemist doesn't feel threatened. He feels like he cannot be killed with a BKB unless they use, some Infest Bomb with Terrorize to follow it up and Supernova. I don't think he's gonna die.
Radiant are scanning.
So Smoke on 2, Narman as well as Supreme.
Dire's
And Force just takes a whole tower. No reaction.
Now that shard's really good if you can pick it up. The problem
Oh, 23.
always is,
Yeah,
he's
Rage.
gonna
Never
TP out.
mind. Fake hype.
Not having enough mana to use that shard early on, but Force in a good spot.
So off that Infest now into a 5-man smoke.
Yeah, let's see if they can execute.
It's got to be perfect. Blink hook stop on a
stun
2.
again.
Oh, God. Supreme dead immediately. Down goes Narman. Now they're going to look at the rest. Ulman's going to be forced to pop the Chemical Rage. Curse Crown. That's going to pop on Force. Stunned up. Double Edge. Buyback coming in from Narman. That's going to be the Hurricane Pike to send him away. Jabs had the Bedlam on him. Force is doing some good damage with the right clicks, but it is the tankiest hero on Aurora. The stun comes out. The Unstable Concoction. Avalanche in onto a couple. They get the Kona Jabs to look over at 23. He's broken, but there's one of those Yules to put Ulman into the air and allow them to survive as they back up.
And Jabs is saving the game for Aurora. If he doesn't land those 2-man stomps, or enough, we'll get the Aegis off and we'll be getting out of trouble.
23 barely surviving there. But you saw that Hurricane Pike, that distance management. Get the hero that's got Bedlam on top of him away from you. On top of which, be able to do some decent damage with that upgraded right click and the shard.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack on scanning.
So, start to go after this tower again. And now with no Supernova, no Dream Coil, no Stampede, you're free to do so.
The overtime damage on their side is through the roof. Sitting in Acid Spray, Nether Toxin, some random blast hits you, Venomancer, damage coming out from him, Noxious Plague. It's a very toxic lineup from MOUZ, and I love it.
They're going to go again? No, they're going to go Tormentor. Okay. I was about to say. Quick off the cooldown there. But Ollie will get that shard.
Ollie pretty happy about that one.
But now you have no outer towers for Aurora. There isn't much of a fallback. You lose a fight. We've seen how quickly Viper takes towers.
Let's see if they decide to siege the high ground or if they're going to respect this Centaur that has been causing a lot of problems.
Yeah, the hoof stomp's on point. Some without proper vision, but with the intuition
Dire are scanning.
to get a couple of heroes. They're smoked up. Blink, Avalanche, toss back towards the rest of the team. Venomous Gale. And that's not going to be enough damage, but the Illuminate hits all the way back onto this Phoenix, who's working it up. So Ali, unable to get a Supernova, not really in a position where it would have been great. So it's almost fortunate for him that he didn't use Supernova there.
Yeah, it does have buyback at ready. Last glyph available for Aurora, but look at his damage.
Yeah, it's
On
quick.
the buildings, minus 12 armor on buildings, so your buildings have 3 armor. AC,
They've
7
invested.
stacks of Viper.
Yeah, they're going to have to buy back to go for this. They go for Supreme. They've got the Dream Coil down. That's going to be on a 2. But it's on it Supreme, who's already dead with the Icarus dive as well as the Supernova. They've got the Sunray. It's going to be on a Force. Force trying to get some right clicks in with
Egg.
All Nate with the BKB. They'll kill this Egg.
Denied.
They'll deny by 23. So it's still dead, but he bought back. 23's low on health. The silence onto the Tiny. They get Bank in. They'll get the Unstable Concoction to stun up Jabs for a moment with the Rage used from 23. They're able to take out Narman, and 4 heroes are dead on the side of MOUZ. So is it worth it? They kind of worked it.
Only
But
with the
Aurora-
one buyback. Oli used the buyback immediately. He got that Supernova with the Sun Ray. But they managed to, even with double glyph usage, they still managed to save the barracks, and that's what matters. And now you can feel damage coming out from 23. Finally, he does have his big item. That's, Radiance Armlet, and about to finish off Manta style. So we'll have another Dispel mechanic. He can outpush the waves much easier.
Let's take another look at this. And you knew the second the jump was coming in, the buyback had to come out.
As soon as you jump that Coddle, he's gonna die. There is no save whatsoever. Like, maybe you can get like some toss back potentially, but it didn't come out immediately. And 23, as soon as he has Rage, I think he's gonna be fine in those engagements.
Do you think Yules might have been good for Coddle, or is it just
No,
straight BKB here?
He's going for Octarine Core. That's pretty standard, but
Yeah.
because you did buy Orchid, you got some value out of it. It also means that your BKB is delayed. I wouldn't mind in this type of a game because you're playing into Coddle, you're playing into Bramble Maze. You get hit by like some random Bramble Maze or Puck jumps on top of you with a coil, you're gonna die. So maybe an earlier BKB would have been a slightly better choice, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Basher now completed on Olnit. Wants to have something to stop these DPs, wants to lock onto a target. I think in this current meta, Orchid/Bloodthorn is a much better choice compared to Abyssal Blade, but maybe because he's playing into Lifestealer matchup, he already has Manta style, so he's thinking, okay, I need something to try to deal extra damage, maybe stop the Rage DP out
Are scanning.
if we can get 1 or 2 kills in a fight.
So
Double
smoke
scan.
from Aurora. Here they go again. See if they can get the jump. This time, Veno's going to have Guardian Greaves, so maybe a little bit more survivability is going to give MOUZ what they need to get over the top of these fights. But Force, not the one you really want to have jumped first, but they've been losing Supreme early. There's the Dream Coil immediately. It's
No
on it
follow-up
too.
on
They'll look for the
Coddle this time.
Terrorize, but the Avalanche is there to stop that Terrorize from coming out immediately with the BKB being used by Olnate. It's early into the fight to do so. Viper Strike from Force. Stampede is used. Still gets away from this Alchemist. Yule's up into the air. Q's able to run away and juke this Alch as the Veno's up front looking for the puck, but eventually the Illuminate, it's still not enough. They did get the kill on the Phoenix, but Q survives.
It's time to push. Even though they popped the BKB, you still have a Siege Engine. There was no Supernova that came out in the previous fight, no coil. MOUZ, they feel like they're on the clock a little bit. You still have some really good scaling into the late game with Viper level 25.
Hurricane Pike.
Of course, not too
Man.
afraid. He's super tanky, has a lot of magic resistance, has Craggy Coat. He can toughen up.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to survive. They don't have Guardian Greaves now for another 30 seconds, but the Sunray onto Force, trying to run. Blink Hoof Stomp again from Jabs is good, with the Curse Crown popping, though. That hit as he jumped in. Oh, no, he owned it. He jumped in to try and help out, but he only dies because of Save Your Friend syndrome.
Well, I mean, he's tanky, but he's not, I'll stand in front of 5 heroes for 30 seconds tanky.
No.
I think he tanked like 15,000 damage, maybe even more in the previous fight.
Dear. The Curse Crown on the jump in.
And then Fear.
And yeah.
They stun locked him. Couple of stuns into Root. They keep trying. I think they need to keep trying. They need to keep trying these fights because things are not going to get easier for them. Puck has Shard, has Enchanted Quiver. This guy is going to scale. Very difficult to deal with Puck in the super late stages of the game.
Oh boy, is it.
Oh, it's Parasma now.
What is a Parasma? Like, it's obviously a halberd in that
Halberd,
picture,
yeah.
but
Is under attack.
So what's the question? If you know it's a halberd.
just usually names are,
Oh, it's a
you know, like
Okay, so Parasma. We don't know. Does it say new item? Maybe the description when we add new items to the game, it just said 7.36 new item. He's Googling stuff. What is Parasma?
it just gives me literally just Dota. It's an upgradable item. There's no like real thing.
Radiant's top tower is under
That's
attack.
disappointing. So, Lauren off on the high ground.
And that's what happens when
Blink,
you shut up.
stop.
I need.
And they're going to go and look to get the kill, but the Yule's up into the air. Bramble Maze is down. Avalanche lands onto a couple, but the Sunray on him. He's pretty tanky. Force staff back into another Bramble. Loser gets the kill on an Armin. So even despite the fact that they were able to get him into the back line, they still die.
23 with those
First
illusions.
crown.
Radiance burn, missed chance, also providing vision.
Waning Rift,
Gonna be
silence
fine.
for the Orchid. Yule's up in the air again. Unstable Concoction, won't get the stun. Bramble Maze once more. Curse Crown is down. Another stun. I mean, the CC is just annoying at this point for MOUZ.
MOUZ, they're on the clock. You have Alchemist in your team. You better start scaling because Keeper of the Light, he's gonna fall off. Veno, Tiny, these heroes don't scale unless we're talking about 60-minute plus where you have Tiny with some Aghanim Scepter right click. So they need to do something. And it seems like they're gonna leave this Roche.
Let's see. They'll commit eventually, right? Realize MOUZ isn't coming back. Bedlam down, and Roche is going to be theirs. So while they go for Roche, I found that Parasma is a Macedonian
Halberd.
village. No, not
Oh.
Albert. That's all I got.
When you say Macedonian, is it Northern Macedonian nowadays or Greek Macedonian?
Greek. It's
Okay.
West Macedonia, Greece. Or at least that's what Wikipedia says, and I use it on all my school reports, so I trust it.
Yeah, Wikipedia, 100% correct.
Yes, every time. So smoke purchased there by Phoenix. They've got the Aegis in the hands of Aurora. So they're really dealing with the proper advantage at this point. It was fights being forced by MOUZ, knowing that they're on a bit of a timer, but Aurora now are the ones that kind of, I would say, control the game. Especially with this Aegis.
Yeah, this 1k gold lead doesn't mean anything at this point. It's also inflated heavily from all the gold that Alchemist gets. He's sitting at 24k net worth at the moment, about to finish off his Abyssal Blade. And he's pretty much going to be, I would say, 6-slotted. Sure, you can still upgrade your Blink, buy some Aghanim Scepter, but yeah, when we talk about the Aghanim Scepter upgrades, Venomancer 1 is cool, Tiny, he can start scaling. Poison, it's a lot of text, look at that.
That is a whole book report to read. It really is. But I do enjoy Poison Nova and Latent Toxicity. I think that's one of the coolest newer ability names.
Cool name, but in terms of what it does, it's a bit underwhelming compared to some S tier shards like
Planar Pocket.
Planar Pocket. Yeah, also Batriders.
Yeah.
Attack and Lasso
Oh.
doesn't disarm you.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Really doesn't.
Oh boy. Supreme. Oh, great blink. Right on top of him. Easy kill onto the Coddle, and it just
They
happens
saw
to
that
line up with
blast.
the Wisdom Rune.
And also Wisdom Rune, as you said. They're gonna go for the high ground, I feel like. Even though there is Tiny on the enemy team.
They are
Coddle-
getting pushed bottom, but
Radiant's top tower.
Viper's not there.
Nope. Coddle for 50 seconds. He does have buyback available, but does not want to use it.
So they are going to at least look at the high ground, all because of this corrosive weaponry. I know that's one of your favorite abilities.
Yeah, that's so OP. That's why we always talk about it whenever Alchemist is picked. Even when Alchemist is not picked, we always mention it during the draft at least once.
Radiant's
Is that like a
middle
thing?
tower has fallen.
Just liking corrosive weaponry. Illusion's coming in, double catapult waves, so some damage is going to be done here, but half the health on the bottom tier 3 of the Aurora side has been eaten up. Double catapults doing work as best they can there down bottom as well. And it is an Abyssal Blade for 23 eventually. And after the start that he had, he's come back into this game quite nicely.
Yeah, with the Aghanim Scepter, that's a huge upgrade for Lifestealer's quality of life. Carry-to-carry matchup, I think we've seen most of the time when you're playing into Troll, where it was heavily Troll favored, you are playing into Mischance, but nowadays with the build, where you're also building into Radiant, so having evasion of your own, overtime damage, and also being able to infest enemy carry hero, disarming them, and also dealing damage is pretty nice. Let's see if there's anything cool. Tier 4 neutral items about to drop in the 15 seconds. If they can find them.
What our obs was pointing out was the Dire have all their shards now. So that was the last one for 23. He got his shard. Open Wounds. Open Wounds definitely reminds me a bit of the movie Hellraiser, I'll tell you that. Bottom tier 2.
Was it Dwayne Johnson movie? Sounds like Dwayne Johnson.
You just sent me a message about this. I can't even begin to explain Hellraiser.
At least I don't think Benjamin Button is a stupid movie.
It makes, dude, that movie makes no sense. He ages backwards and he just gets to shrink. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Every other fantasy or sci-fi movie makes sense. Back to the game, slow siege from 23. It's day 1 and we were already talking about
Benjamin Button. Well, we did talk about it yesterday as well. That obs. Gonna stay up for a bit. Did take some damage for a moment, but yeah, we'll see if they're willing to go to the high ground. Only 13 seconds left on this Aegis. BKB picked up there for jabs. He's gonna be sitting pretty here as the Centaur. And disc for Q. I mean, the items are starting to really funnel in for Aurora, which is very problematic for MOUZ. They were Jerry in the last game, but I don't know about this game.
Yeah, we're also getting closer to level 25s. Amplified damaged. Bottled by Lorinov. Going into Arcane Blink. Arcane Blink, Octarine Core. You're just going to be popping all over the place. Has a static cap, so even if he gets stunned, these Orchids are not going to last as long. You have some status resistance coming out from Kai Assange. I don't think Lorinov dies unless he makes, some massive mistake. Supreme does have a Hex available, but they can still, back him up with the Glimmer Cape, some Terrorize, Sunray heals.
They just destroy Bengen.
That's a gem.
Oh, yeah. Not really what you want to lose. But they already had a gem. So, that's fine. No way they get away with it. I mean, they're not picking up the gem.
They're baiting. They want to kill this courier.
They're going to get the courier. I was going to say they're not...
extra 500 on top of on top of the gem that they just picked up, so 1250.
It's good math. Another Tormentor. Everybody's got their shard, so the shard just disappears, even though it's in the inventory of the Tormentor. Maybe later on in the Dota lifespan, that'll be how you get Shard level 2.
Shard level 2?
Yeah.
With increased numbers or
completely new ability, actually. It's everybody has to have their Shard, and then you can unlock Shard level 2.
Shard 2, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll write it down, B-Cup. Starting with some awesome ideas already.
Ice Tier, Ice Frog. Shard level 2. Love Ben. Regen Rune. Gonna be picked up here by Q. And, it just feels like, yeah, we're gonna play it safe. Wait for next Roche. Keep it simple.
Roche respawning potentially in 45 seconds. Some big items on Aurora. As you said, Abyssal Blade about to be finished on Lifestealer. And smoke on smoke action.
who will make the move, because Roche is soon.
Radiant are scanning.
And I think
Hand's gonna connect. They know. Jabs. Difficult target.
Jabs,
Blink. Hero.
post stomp, damage on an Armin, but the Yule's up into the air, Illuminate. They're going to try and go to the Stampede and get this kill on an Armin. They get themselves at least one. He's going to buy back into the fight. They look after 23, he's taking a lot of damage, but he's got the Lotus Orb as well as the Bedlam.
5.
Yule's up into the air is the Alchemist, but the right clicks. 23's gone. Ollie's dead. And he's got no buyback.
He invested all of his gold. He tried a man fight against Viper and
off.
Alchemist.
He's fine.
Set a cap, keeping him alive. That Hex also didn't last too long. The first usage.
He
in the
is
previous
so
fight.
fortunate this Roche is another 2 minutes. That is... wow. Talk about getting away with it. Because that could have been a big change of events there. Truthfully, it might still be. No Life Stealer, you know you have pushing power. You could take a set, right? Or try.
You could try, but you don't know if he has buy or not. It's
Yeah, that's true.
kind of difficult to get 40 minutes into the game. Whether he does have or doesn't have a buyback available. He's been farming a lot with Manta, pushing out multiple waves.
True, you can't just assume the worst. Or, well, in MOUZ's case, the best.
All right, Aghanim Scepter, first one. Hold it, let's see who gets it.
They still have to get this
It's
Roche.
going to be Supreme. So, Will-O-Wisp available to keep them in place.
Ags out, given out. Now can they get this Roche? Can they get a little bit more juice, you know? 54 seconds, though. A little juice, a little squeeze, another Ags. Thank you, please. That's what you really want. But 40 seconds till Roche is up and Lifestealer is alive and ready to go.
Yeah, he did disassemble his Radiance and now has Nullifier available. He's getting tired of these 4 staffs, Glimmer Cape, so he wants to lock onto a target and immediately kill it.
Mjolnir in full. Force kind of giving away his position. Roche going to be up in 8 seconds. They've got an obs here near the steps, but will that be
Big
enough?
Wonka moment. I see Viper approaching. He's not there yet, but Scotty in his quick buy. Level 25 talent. Become universe. This is like the biggest meme. Whoever thought about this one, you know, give him a raise. This is, you know, become universal. And that was you. Because it's kind of a funny one, but also has a massive impact. And speaking of other 25s, Puck did hit level 25 some time ago. Having that Dream Coil goes to debuff immunity.
They're wrapping from behind. Oh no, Norman! Oh, the Will-O-Wisp. It's down, but the BKBs, they're right on top of the Tiny. He's still surviving for a little bit longer, but he'll end up dying. 90 seconds. Now they've got the Sun Ray onto the Alchemist. He's in so much trouble. The Viper strike, the right click's not going to be enough. Ultimate's dead. He doesn't have buyback either. Oh, MOUZ. They're falling apart. They're getting snapped by the traps. The right click's in from Force, but he's still dead. They'll go after the Veno. Bengen's gone. Godlike here. As that's 4 heroes dead on the side of MOUZ and Roche.
Completely different fight. 23 staying away from Viper and then being able to utilize this freshly bought Nullifier. He goes onto Tiny. Tiny doesn't get a second round of spells in the previous fight. So that's going to be
Now Ag's Blessing on
Ag's
Roche.
Blessing, and they're also going to have Cheese, so that's going to be potentially a bait against the MOUZ.
Could be.
Try to lock onto the target, big heal that comes out. Ollie was very quick with the Glimmer Cape, and you can see that Force, Bengen, and also Supreme, they're on a different side of the map. Yulnit in the middle of 5 heroes is not going to be able to do much.
Yeah.
They knew fight was over. As soon as Tiny died, there was great positioning from Aurora.
Truthfully, as soon as Tiny missed that Avalanche and the Will-O-Wisp was way off the fight, it felt like that fight was over. but it forced them into a position where they had to fight.
Aghanim Scepter now completed on Puck. And that's level 25 Puck. He's gonna eat that. Revenant's Brooch on top of it. These items are starting to pile up. He's the alchemist in the game. 40,000 net worth.
Oh boy. That is just a lot of jumping gold there. And now another Aegis, allowing Aurora to kind of have this moment where they might be able to go high ground and finish it off.
He's still sitting on 3,000 gold, so can upgrade this Yule Scepter by Wind Waker. His Blink Dagger is on 5.3 second cooldown with Octarine Core.
Yeah, not really much easy way to catch the puck anymore. The idea at the beginning of the game was Orchid. Now the idea at the end of the game is Prey.
Even with Hex, having status resistance from Kaya, Sponge, and Ascetic Cap is... you can't lock him down. 23 starts to siege slowly. Under Rage in 10 seconds.
Feels really confident with this Aegis, but
Alchemist has his Radiance turned off. We'll need to turn it on.
Uh-oh. Narman jumped in. Got the break, the Will-O-Wisp. It's not going to pull him in. So that is not going to be enough to get that control that they maybe would have wanted to go and get this Aegis out of the hands of the Lifestealer. But Lifestealer will just heal up, wait for the next wave, go back onto the high ground, and go again. Eesh, that is a scary sight when you're seeing Puck do that much. Again, Viper Strike from Force. Right click's not really feeling like they're doing enough here. Puck's going to be in for a second. Blinks out. Abyssal Blade used. Stampede comes through. Hurricane Pike. Double Edge Hoof Stomp. That's going to be off the mark. So now the Supernova pushes them away with the Dream Coil down. They've got the Hex onto the Puck, but can they get the kill? They go to the Abyssal Blade with the Infest. Now they bought back on Bengen, who died immediately with the BKB running out on Ulnit. This is looking like Aurora, if they choose to stay, might have the advantage, but they're going to lose the Aegis. So now they got to work with the Cheese. They can see if 23 can survive, if these heroes can come back in. They certainly can with Jabs, but they've got the Hex. They go, and the Lotus Orb's not going to be enough. 23 ends up dead. They go after Jabs. They've got that ult coming out from the Venomancer. The Yule's up into the air. Bengen's dead a second time with Puck into the back lines. They've got the damage. The double edge is in. Ulnit is gone. As Force is going to stand his ground and go after this Puck with the Hex again. A Waning Rift, the damage is there. Ollie with the Sunray gets the kill on a Force.
He's thinking about jumping in again.
Why not?
This guy's mad. Back to half HP, ready to go. Ascetic Cap, ready, even if he gets X. Oh, the Wind Waker.
But they've got vision, they've got this Obs. Interesting spot for an Obs. Gives them the info they want, though. Will-O-Wisp, silence there with Waning Rift. He's got the Illuminate. Lord off. Always thinking that he wants to jump in for more. He is really, truly not afraid.
10,000 damage by Puck, 10,000 damage by Viper in the previous fight. Oh, we've seen Hex, this valuable pickup from Supreme, did allow him to kill Lifestealer from 100 to 0 after he respawned. I think he had a little bit of time to pop the cheese. Not sure if it would make a difference, but yeah. Wind Waker at the ready for Coddle.
Hex, Avalanche, toss, the damage? No. It was close. Coil committed and another fuels up into the air. Bramble, oh no, Narman.
He never needs to go heal with the Puck. Every single time you use a Blink Dagger, you get 200 HP. Uh-oh.
No.
Never mind.
No.
Having Sun Ray behind you.
Ward off will take that top set of racks. Narman, 45 seconds till he's back up. And even with the plus 200 Illuminate damage, it doesn't feel like enough. Viper Strike. They go in onto this Lifestealer. They go to the Hex, the Force Staff back. They buy back on Narman. Now they'll Infest. Are they going to choose to jump back in? And talking about it, Lornoff doesn't really feel like they're in much danger.
Oh, amplified damage. bottom lane, so he's gonna pick that one up.
And now come back. So why not?
With the Infest, they want to blow, like you lock onto one hero, you're gonna instantly kill it. Having Nullifier, there's no defense.
Jabs has Blink. Ready to go. Looking for a target. Bramlemaze is down. Illusory Orb once again. Hoping to find somebody as Warnoff instead starts to hit the tier 3 over bottom. Takes the tier 3 as he trends away, but they go to the post stomp in. They get the kill on Supreme. Bacon's dead already. Buyback from Supreme, but is it going to be enough? The right clicks, no, the stun! Oh, the Supernova! That'll pop. They'll take out Olnit. He's got buyback. He's probably going to be forced to use it if they want any chance of turning this around.
He needs to use it. These are long 90 seconds.
Not have Chemical Rage, though.
Buyback. Wind Waker in a second.
Yeah, there's
that
the
foil.
Buyback in. Viper Strike, toss up into the air. Maybe they get jabs, but onto the backlines once again. They've got themselves the silences. They get the kill on the Centaur. They'll look over. That's a phase shift as well as a blink away from Warnoff. The Illusory Orb back over towards mid, but before starting to do some damage onto 23, who will TP out. Avalanche toss right onto Warnoff, pops the Aeon Disc, TP again. The attempt to go and leave is successful from the Dark Willow.
Oh, no Avalanche, no toss was ready. Chakra Magic also off cooldown. So multiple buyback. These are very expensive ones. Both Supreme and Ulnit did buyback in the previous fight. 33k gold lead for Aurora. Last set of barracks to be taken. Roshan can respawn in a minute. Fights are very difficult for them. I feel like Alchemist's damage output in the last, I would say 15, maybe even 20 minutes is just not there. He can't lock onto a target. He tried to go for the egg, but not successful.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh, that just
Look at
might
the
be it.
damage. Yeah, I mean, Olnit's dead for 2 minutes now. Supreme's got to try and TP out. He gets away, but it's beyond godlike for Warnoff, and Olnit says, we need vision.
And the classic carry contribution after dying.
We told you not to leave base, but you left. 50,000 net worth now for Warnoff.
This has to be one of the biggest bucks in terms of net worth. He can still, you know, buy Moonshard, buy this Wind Waker. I think he has that one. No, he's going for a refresher, it seems. That's Phoenix. Where's his career at?
Probably Secret Shop? So they'll go. Stampede, Hex, going. Supernova. They've got the root. They'll go after the Viper. They'll break that Dream Coil. The toss that was actually from Narman, and now the double edge. They get the kill on the 3. And, yeah, with the Havoc Hammer, 4 heroes die. GG is called, and Aurora eventually wind up taking the series 2-1 over the side of MOUZ.
Yeah, after seeing that game 1, I thought that this could be, you know, an hour-long BO3 where...